Hi, welcome to the fourth Harper Sports Podcast. I'm Aiden Carlson.
I'm Luke Kobler.
And today's main topic, we're going to be talking about the issues surrounding the Mizzou football team this past week and the rest of the campus stuff that's been going on. So today we're joined by Mizzou freshman Ben Borst. Ben, how you doing?
Pretty well. How are you guys?
I'm good. Ben writes for the Odyssey Online. He's the sports writer there, and he also has his own blog. So he knows a lot about what's going on here.
Yeah.
So should we just jump right into it?
Sure. So the first thing I'd probably talk about has to be, when the whole thing started, when the hunger strike first came about, I was walking to class last Tuesday, I want to say, and it was the first time I'd seen any tents or any signs out in the center of our campus, and I didn't really know what to think. I saw the sign that said hunger strike and looked it up, saw that there's actually a guy that's protesting our president and said that he was not going to eat until the president resigned, and it didn't really take off the next day. There were a bunch of protests on campus in that same area. More tents came on, or more people set up tents, and it started to get a little bit bigger. The president, Tim Wolf, he actually acknowledged the protests and said that racism is alive on our campus and that it's unacceptable, but that he did not plan on resigning. And from that point, I kind of thought, wow, this Jonathan Butler guy, the guy that's protesting, he's toast. Like, he's going to end up dying because the president doesn't plan on resigning. And then Saturday night, a couple guys on the football team said that they aren't going to play, aren't going to participate in any activities. And then Sunday, it really broke news. This PM jumped on it, and things blew up from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I found this from CNN here. They said about 30 black members of the Missouri Tigers football team declared in a tweet that they wouldn't play until Wolf was gone. They wouldn't play in any games. Yeah, and then...
That was the first night, I'm pretty sure. And then, the next day, they said the whole team was not going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we know because of that, a lot of things were happening publicly. Yeah, the rest of the team, and then also head coach Gary Pinkel, they were backing the team with that decision there.
There's a lot of speculation on that too. What didn't break news on Sunday night before Tim Wolf resigned, there was a post on Sports Illustrated, I want to say, that said that there were even some guys on the team that said that they were split on the decision. The team was split on the decision to protest the season. So there's still some speculation, and that got kind of thrown under the radar because the president resigned so quickly after the football team started their protest.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of speculation there with that.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, and then big thing that happened on Monday, Wolf actually resigned. It seemed like...
Shocking.
Yeah. It seemed like I think Sunday he released a statement saying like they were going to try and talk about this, and then all of a sudden on Monday he just resigned.
Mm-hmm. But again, there was another thing it was an anonymous football player that was saying all this stuff. That's what they released it as.
Mm-hmm.
He also said, which I completely agree with 100%, was like if they were 8-1 or 9-0 this year, they would not be protesting. They would not be putting this president's job in jeopardy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But since they're 4-5, they're on a 4-game skid. Their offense has just been abysmal. That they were able to let this happen.
Yeah. I gotta say, just from hearing that, I could definitely see where you would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. If the players want to play, let alone the fans want to watch them.
Yeah.
Up against BYU this weekend, and I think they're 7-2 this season. So who knows what's going to happen? I don't even know if we're going to make a bowl game this year.
Yeah. Now, did you say? Did you report a couple days ago saying that the team is divided again about something?
I said they were divided over this issue of protesting,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we were talking about just a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Some of the guys said they didn't know or didn't support the idea of protesting for someone to have someone lose their job. And didn't agree with that statement. They thought that they could probably go about it a better way.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Did you have anything to add, Luke? Any more topics about that?
Yeah, I mean, it seems a lot of this is very just like rushed.
Yeah.
I remember I heard about it and all the news just flooded in, and I was it was just all like too much to really like comprehend because I found out about it late, and the more I researched it and the more I learned about it, just like the more kind of like, as you said, it was like all seems like anonymous. Like there wasn't much like solid stuff that was going on. Like when I learned all about everything that happened, all the racism that led up to this, just like, I don't know, it just seemed very rushed.
Yeah.
A lot of it was, and of that was because it didn't break around like the country till late. Like I was posting about some stuff and I was getting texts just flooding in from people asking me like, what's going on, like what's happening over there? You guys know so much more than we do. Like stuff hasn't been like getting all the way out to the public. It's just staying like around campus. So it's been pretty crazy here, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like exactly like the media. The media came kind of late to it. Most of the way that I found out before a lot of people was because you were texting me updates about the hunger strike. That's how I found out about it before the media started reporting. You sent me pictures and stuff about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so media has to be really careful about this kind of topic too, because they don't want to pick any sides or cross any lines. So that's another thing that's why it's maybe taking a little bit longer to release everything.
Also, how is like life on campus been? I know from some of my friends that attend that school as well, I know that a lot of their classes have been canceled, and yeah.
So yesterday, I guess it was 2 days ago at night was when like things started to get really hectic, like protests started getting they're not technically riots, but things started to get out of control and people started to get really scared, and we were on like a lockdown, or not necessarily lockdown, but our dorms wanted us to stay inside and keep everyone off the streets, keep everyone safe. So the next morning when everyone woke up, it was scary. I was very unsettled. Like it was dark. It was very dark on campus because like the weather wasn't too great and it was really windy and cold, and it was just a spooky day. Because no one knew what to do. I just sat in my room for most of the day because my classes were canceled. So it was scary. And even today, I was like, the campus is still a little quiet. Not as many people out as I assumed there would be, but it's been a little very unsettling.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot that adds to that fear is like the Yik Yak stuff that was posted.
Oh yeah, Ben, you were one of the first people to actually talk about that.
I think I was the first person to say something like that. I think I was just looking at my phone. I was over at the library, and then I got a text from a couple of people from campus saying someone just released this anonymous Yik Yak post saying like they're threatening our school and that it's going to happen at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And so I immediately knew like this is serious. Like obviously it's anonymous, so it could be a joke, but anything like that, especially on a campus as big as Mizzou's, you're going to take it seriously. So I hopped on it immediately. And the scariest part about it was the first quote was of the Yik Yak was "Some of you are all right," which relates to a 4chan post last month where a same scenario where someone posted saying some of you guys are all right. If you're like in the Northwest, don't go to school tomorrow, don't go to class tomorrow. And sure enough, the next day there was a shooting at a community college that killed 13 people. So not only did they say some of you are all right, don't go to campus tomorrow, but they said, well, tomorrow Mizzou will really make national news, and they're saying like it's going to happen at 10 a.m. So that was another reason why it was really scary on campus yesterday, was because no one knew if something was going to happen or not, and if it actually was going to happen at 10 a.m. That was very scary.
Yeah, I'd definitely be scared to go to class if there was something like that. And then, so you got the that mysterious Yik Yak post, and then also going back to the hunger strike there, the guy stopped eating. This was just found out. The guy who started, he's a Mizzou graduate, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Jonathan Butler.
Jonathan Butler, yeah, he's.
Yeah, and then it was found out that his family's worth over $20 million.
Yeah, that's one of the many things that have caused a lot of issues over these protests when it comes to that, saying like he's had like a rough like life living in I don't know. I don't know what to say about it because there's just so much that he's probably gone through in his life racially, but then again, when you see his dad or whatever that was saying that your family's worth like $20 million, who knows what he really went through in his life.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think that's, I mean, he can protest against racism and stuff, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
For sure. Some of the stuff that he says about like his upbringing and how he lived a hard life, I guess from a racial standpoint that makes sense, but when your family's worth that much money or like your parents are making that much money, it's kind of hard to buy it.
yeah, I mean, it's like, and also, how hard could your life really have been if your family's worth $20 million? I feel like you're not. Yeah, you're not living in you're not living in like the slums or something like that. I have a feeling that you live in a decent neighborhood. You obviously have money, so you're not struggling for food and stuff. You don't have to join a gang or something. So I feel like yes, he's protesting about that, but I mean when he says that he's had such a hard life. Yeah. When you're worth $20 million, I mean, I don't know how much about that to believe.
I'm sure it's lived a hard life, but yeah, to an extent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very to an extent.
Yeah, and then also I heard that I read that he claimed to be hit by a car driven by.
That was during the homecoming parade.
Mm-hmm.
That there was a video that was released about that, and from what I saw, I didn't see anything along those lines. All the protesters lined up in front of the president's car. He was just kind of sitting on the back seat. He didn't have anything. He didn't say anything. He just kind of sat there awkwardly because obviously when there's multiple people standing in front of you, chanting, like yelling at you, trying to get you to resign your position and step down, there's not much you can say. And so I don't know. I didn't see the car hit anyone, but again, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that went on off camera.
Yeah.
So
it's all speculation right now, pretty much.
That's kind of how this whole thing started. To be honest, there were 3 major issues that started this semester. The first one was our student body president, Aiden. He said that he was cussed out by some white people in a pickup truck, calling him the N-word and just kind of verbally abusing him. And then there was another scenario where I think it was the Black Legion's meeting, where a drunk student ran up on stage and started cussing out all the people at that meeting, which they found out who that was and got him removed. So that was good. And then the last one was the poop swastika in the residence hall bathroom, which again, there's no picture of it, so we don't know for sure if it happened.
Mm.
And then again, like the first one, obviously we believe Payton had to word, but who knows how far they all went in that situation.
Yeah, and then I mean I feel like because with the hunger strike and the football team, with all the media attention it got, there've been a lot of protests on Mizzou, I believe. Are there kind of a lot now?
Lots of protests. They have been marching through our student center. Last night they were marching through the streets, chanting. I don't know what exactly they were chanting or what they were protesting last night, but yeah, it sounds like after they got the president and the chancellor to step down, they said that this was just the beginning, and then they're gonna keep going and try and make this effort to end racism on campus and make this a safer community for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then a big thing in the news that a lot of people caught was during some protests a couple of days ago, a teacher named Melissa Click, she asked for, there's a student reporter there trying to take pictures, and she asked for, quote, muscle to remove the student there.
Yeah, that wasn't even the first thing she said too. Yeah, but there was someone that got through our students, or I think it was the graduate students, and then some teachers, they made a chain wall around the tents where the people that were actual protesters were like staying, and they didn't want anyone in. They didn't want anyone to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So this lady Melissa Click, the professor, someone got in the room and she walked up to him and was like, you can't be here. You need to leave. And then she like turned around and was like, hey, can someone help me? I need some muscle. Someone get this guy out of here. And then earlier, I think it was before that happened. There was a situation where that same photographer actually was trying to take pictures, and she was walking by behind the wall, laughing, kind of just telling the protesters what they should do to block the photographers from getting any pictures or block any journalists from getting any sort of news or any votes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just laughing at the photographer, the reporter. So it was like frustrating to see that someone like who has a lot of power just kind of abuse it and make themselves just look bad in general.
Yeah, yeah. Now, my favorite part about this story with this teacher is that I read somewhere that she physically pushed him around and was telling him to stop taking pictures, and all this happened on public property. This is all in a public area that they're doing this, and they're denying that the public can't take pictures, that there's no media allowed.
Completely abusing, the First Amendment. Yeah, there was that other teacher, or I think she was the director of Greek Life and Leadership. Her name was Jenna Bassler. She was standing there like mocking the photographer, and she was like, everyone was locked arms and started walking into him. He's like, stop pushing me, and she looked at him and just said, stop pushing me, and you can't help but laugh at it, because obviously that's like a third grade comeback when you're doing something to someone you're not doing anything to you, but you still go like them, and just, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that they're faculty who work at the school doing that to students who are paying to go there, on public property is, that's crazy.
It's those same people that are now like hiding in their offices and houses, just not saying anything to the public anymore because of what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, and what's that?
No, yeah, continue.
Oh, okay. And then also bringing it back one last time to Melissa Click is that she actually posted on Facebook last Saturday when with the very beginning of the hunger strike. She put on Facebook and actually posted and said, if anyone wants the story, come down and we'll give you the scoop on what's going on. She was actually inviting the media down there. And I mean, I know there's screenshots of it. I don't know if I doubt she still has it up because of that. But I mean, there are pictures on the internet that you could easily find of that post. And then a week later, she's telling people that that they can't take pictures there.
That's the other thing that I didn't really understand about this whole protest was they did this hunger strike and they do all this stuff to get attention and obviously to get the word out. And so when people realize like what's going on and figure out the situation, they've got questions to ask. So they're obviously out of human nature. They just go over there and are trying to go ask questions and get the news out to everyone so that everyone knows what's going on in the zoo. But when they show up, they're all like, no, we're not saying anything to you. We're going to block you from getting anywhere near any of the people that are protesting this. So it didn't make much sense to me. I'm sure if I could talk to them and figure out what was going on in like their minds, and I'm sure there's a logical explanation behind it, but because of them blocking us out, we really don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I heard that was the KKK on campus?
Those were reports. Again, there was our student body president. He said, students, please take precautions, stay away from windows in residence halls. The KKK has been confirmed to be sighted on campus. I'm working with Missouri PD and the state trooper and the National Guard. And everyone freaked out then, because if you picture the KKK walking around campus, then I don't know what's going to happen, because after that, someone was saying that the Black Panthers were first and were going to head over, and there was just going to be like an all-out race war on our campus, which would have been ridiculous. I would have gotten out of here as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But like maybe 30 minutes later, he removed his post and said that he apologized for the misinformation. Don't listen to anything anyone says besides the MU alert systems. So, again, that's kind of what Tuesday night was filled with, was just like rumors, false threats.
Yeah.
And it was really scary because you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what to believe. There were people there was a guy in our speaker circle who was just walking in circles, going on a rant about how like the black and white people will never be like one, that racism is always going to exist, and that there's nothing we can do about it. So lots of stuff happened on Tuesday night, and it was not good. It was very scary.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's that's crazy. That's very scary.
It's very eye-opening as to like just any college. Like this could happen anywhere. I mean, of course, racism is alive in a lot of places, obviously, and it's just crazy how you can think like it could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And like you just got to be careful. Like media can portray really anything. I mean, there's people that believe anything that the media says, and people can capitalize on it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a crazy thing to think about. It kind of makes me lost for words, to be honest.
Yeah, and well, I mean, like with social media too, when something like that's, with the hunger strike and everything, when that's happening, with things like Yik Yak and Twitter, where you can, a bunch of people can see what you say.
Yeah.
There's bound to be paranoia, with the guy who went on Yik Yak, and said don't come, don't go on campus tomorrow and stuff like that. Like you were saying, you don't know who to believe with it, because anyone who says anything, about that stuff, it could be true, or it could just be like a lie or something that they heard from someone else. You don't know. In this age of information, you don't know what's really real.
But why take the chance?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, people are always going to do that though.
Yeah.
When there's something like that, they're always going to post something about it. And it's very eye opening.
That's just the power of social media too. It's ridiculous how strong and how much power we have in our hands. Just you can send out one tweet, one anonymous post, and it sends a whole community, a whole school, and everyone's freaking out. But on top of that, there was also like some emails that were being sent out. So yesterday, school wasn't like officially canceled. It was just school, since they found out who the Jack poster was, and they apprehended him. They said they deemed the school and the campus that they deemed it safe, so they canceled class. But the teacher still didn't feel comfortable having class, so they canceled it. But there were some teachers that had exams that day for students, and there was an email from Dr. Brigham, and he said, if you don't feel safe coming to class, then don't come to class. I will be there, and there will be an exam administered in our class. And so that was kind of the statement, but his lesson behind it, or like his reasoning behind it, was that if you get into bullies, they win. The only way bullies are defeated is by standing up to them. If we cancel an exam, they win. If we go through with it, they lose. I know which side I'm on. You make your own choice. So that was like it's like a convincing argument for sure, and it makes sense. Like obviously, kids should go to class if they aren't canceled, but you're talking in terms of bullies when you don't know who that bully is, and you don't know, like you're basically risking your life for it. It's still a little suspect. I'd still be scared to go to class.
Yeah. Now, have things have they toned down a little bit these past couple of days around campus?
Since then, they've toned down a little bit. Last night, there at our Black Culture Center, there were a couple of vandals that went by and spray painted the black part of the sign, so now it just says Culture Center. So people are very frustrated about that, and it might have just sparked another fire because things were dying down last night, and everybody kind of thought, okay, all the tents are gone, all the news trucks are gone, everything's like kind of settled down. There's just the protests that are going in, and so maybe things will start getting back to normal. But now after that, we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes of that.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy stuff. Yeah. So, do you guys have anything else you want to add? Any closing statements?
No, I think I said everything I could say.
Ben, you got
That's
anything?
about it.
Okay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on, Ben. Okay. Well, Ben Bors, you can read his articles more on the Odyssey Online, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you next time then.
All right. See ya.